Hey guys, Chris here. Today we're doing the long trip test in the new Audi Q8 e-tron 55. So today we're going to find out how good or bad this car performs while taking it on a longer trip. Today's route, as always, 610 kilometers, almost 400 miles at mostly motorway speeds, means that we're not going to get close to the WLTP rated range of this specific car of 492 kilometers. I'm guessing we're going to get a little more than 400 kilometers before we have to stop and charge. And once we stop and charge, how many minutes will we have to use charging? Will we have any issues with chargers not working? Will there be any queues at chargers? Will we have any issues with anything at all? All of that is going to be explored in today's video. And we actually did a test of this car pre-facelift almost 2 years ago, around August 2021. And that car charged for 34 minutes to complete this same exact test. So I'm hoping this new car with more range, potentially faster charging also, is going to do better. So without further ado, let's get on the road and I'll see you guys in a second.
I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, squeeze, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out. I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, squeeze, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out.
We've now been on the road for an hour and a half and we're a little more than halfway to our turnaround point in Kristiansand. And take a look at the consumption, 25.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And we've covered 157.6 kilometers now. Also, our battery percentage is now at 63%. Yes, this still has the same software as when this car first came out in 2019, where you have to go into like 3 submenus to find the actual battery percentage. Yes, you do have like an indicator there, like a gauge, and they can also make it bigger, but it doesn't give you the actual percentage like in an Audi Q4 e-tron, which is really weird. Don't know why they still do that. That would be easy to do a software update, especially since they do that in other electric cars. So I don't know what that is about, but 63% means we're going to be able to go, pretty far. We're going to be able to go to Kristiansand and then a good way back towards our goal again, back towards our starting point before we're going to have to stop and charge. Where we're going to have to stop and charge, I'm not sure yet. This car peaks at 170 kilowatts. Maybe we can do some chargers in Arendal that we have done earlier. Not entirely sure. But today, a beautiful day to do this trip. It's currently 25.5 degrees Celsius outside. It's been hovering between 24 and 27 degrees Celsius. So a really nice day to do this trip.
I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, squeeze, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out. I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, squeeze, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out.
Welcome to our turnaround point, which is in Kristiansand, all the way to the south here in Norway, the biggest southernmost, summer city here in Norway, and it's 24 degrees Celsius here, so not as warm as a little bit further north. Like usually around Oslo it's a little bit warmer than down here. I'm guessing we're gonna get like 28, 29 degrees when we get back to Oslo. But okay, consumption though is also dropped to 23.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so almost the outside temperature is our average consumption now. Let's take a look at the battery percentage. That's going to be very interesting. I have to do a lot of pressing into submenus. 31% state of charge, and according to the wind map, we actually have a headwind on our way from Oslo and all the way down here of about 1 meter to 2 per second. So we can safely almost assume that we're going to use 69% to go back. So I'm going to put down 31% in my notes because that's going to be useful when I want to stop and charge, how much I want to stop and charge to. So we're here now. This car is such a nice car to travel with on a long trip. It's very quiet, very comfortable. It has a very nice stereo. My only complaint, and I had this complaint when I owned one of these a few years ago, are these sport seats. So this is a brand new car. When I picked it up, it had like 2,000 kilometers. We're almost at 3,000 kilometers now. And the seat cushion in these sports seats are a little bit firmer than I prefer. So after a few hours on the road, it's a little bit, yeah, it's not comfortable to sit in for a long amount of time. Oh, do we have a, let's see, a gap here? So not the most comfortable, so hopefully, yeah, we're gonna stop and charge soon. I think we're gonna go to the chargers at Stua, where we have charged earlier. They have 180 and 240 kilowatt chargers there, which should be plenty. So I'll see you guys there, most likely.
I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out. I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out.
We're now back here at Stua. We've been here a few times and charged now. It's a little bit off, you know, the main road, like a kilometer or two. But it's also a very nice place to charge because, I can do it right here, because usually no chargers are occupied. They're all vacant. And we can do, this is 120. This is probably 240 kilowatts. This charger right here, E-Tron, 180 kilowatts, that will do. So let's take a look at the average consumption thus far. 23.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, dropped a little bit, and we are now at 17% stated charge. Not optimal, but there aren't any fast enough chargers to utilize the speed of this car north from this point within 67 kilometers of range. Today's video is sponsored by Elton. That's why we are using the Elton charging app now. We have now connected. The charge port is on the driver's side front fender on the Q8 E-Tron, and once we plug, we can choose this Tron charger here, and it should be very quickly to start and charge. And while the car is initializing, I just want to tell you guys quickly about the Elton charging app, which is the most awesome charging app in Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark. One charging app lets you charge at almost all charge point operators in all of these countries. So yeah, if you plan on coming to Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark this summer, or you plan on traveling to one of these countries, I would highly recommend you guys to check out the Elton charging app, because one charging app, one payment card, one charging map, everything is so easy with this charging app. So again, a huge thanks to Elton for sponsoring today's video. So with that out of the way, let's pop around the camera. And we actually don't get the charging speed on these chargers. We get the percentage we're at, we get the time, and we also get the kilowatt hours delivered. So let's hop into the car, because the car will tell us. Let's go ahead and see here, pop on the ignition, and there we go. So 139 kilowatts is what we are getting at 18% stated charge. We also navigated to this charger, but there wasn't any speed. You know, the navigation system didn't show the speed of the charger. That may impact if the car preheats or doesn't preheat. I'm not sure if these cars even preheat. The last E-Tron didn't actually preheat. And we're getting 140 kilowatts, but it is 27 degrees Celsius outside, so strictly there shouldn't be any need to preheat the car while we've been driving, you know, for several hours with an ambient temperature like that. The battery should be more than up to temperature. But 141 kilowatts, again, maybe we're going to get that 170 kilowatts at a lower stated charge. We're now at 20. But yeah, so, well, the car is, you know, charging, and let's hop into the navigation system, because we've actually navigated to our endpoint. So the car now says minus 41%. I think as we, the percentage here climbs, this is going to climb more and more and more. And, you know, if we put those two numbers together, minus 41%, and we're at 21% stated charge now. Yeah, look at that. So we're going to charge until this shows a buffer of about 5 to 10%, because that should give us a safe buffer to get home. So that's pretty nice with this navigation system. You can put in the chargers. It is a little bit more finicky and fiddly than something like a Tesla or a Volvo, but once you get used to it, it's actually not bad at all, and it shows you things like this, so I don't have to calculate, I don't have to, estimate how many percentage I'm going to arrive with. The car's just going to tell us. You just have to charge to a buffer you're comfortable with, and it will be good to go. And I've used this extensively. I had an E-Tron GT before, traveled throughout Europe, and it's very, very reliable.
I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out. I'm on the sound, hoodie season, back around, no more summer bounce, little squeeze out, keep that indoors when we're throwing down, oversized jumping with our underwear out.
Welcome back to our starting point here at Elton-app, where we started this test earlier today. So we arrived here with 9% battery. Even though I charged the car till it was giving us a buffer of 6% is what the car predicted we would arrive with, we actually got 3% more when we arrived here. So as I've said in this video and other Audi videos, the MMI navigation system and route planning in these electric Audis are actually pretty reliable. You're going to get more range, you're going to ride with more percentage than the car is predicting, and that is absolutely how it should be done, not the other way around. And with that being said, I could actually push this car a little bit more charged for a little bit less time and arrived here with even less battery. But I tried to arrive, here at our end stop, at our destination, with around 5 to 10% battery. And also, average consumption dropped down to 23.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is pretty nice. And as I predicted also, on our way back, we had a tailwind, so that would drop. And also today, a very, very warm day here back in Oslo, 29 degrees Celsius. And another thing I have to mention is that we are now charging. The AC is on, the ignition is on. AC is on here according to the button here on the HVAC system, but it's not blowing cold air. So this is a thing I remember from having a car like this a few years ago, is that when you're charging and running the HVAC with the ignition on, it doesn't blow cold air. Why not Audi? Why doesn't it do that? That is very, very weird. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it. I think you have to turn off the car, and then if you have the app, you have to activate, the parking climate, but that is just dumb. Maybe if I turn off the ignition now, and then, where's parking climate? There we go, parking climate, and then start now? Maybe. Will it then blow cold air? Yeah, then it blows cold air. Okay, so that is the way to do it. You have to turn off the ignition, and then you have to choose parking climate, which is really weird. I don't know why that's like an auxiliary thing in these Audi e-tron and Q8 e-trons, but that's the way it's done. I knew there was a way because, yeah, if it's really hot outside, okay, so yeah, I don't have to run the AC, it's super cold. But then you lose the screen here if you want to see your charging. Then you have to turn on the ignition. So it's pretty annoying how you do, I don't know, it's pretty annoying, the configuration here, not optimal. But okay guys, you are here at the end of the video, probably to see things like this, but mostly to, well, know how many minutes we had to spend to complete today's test, how many minutes charging we had to do to complete today's route, today's long trip test. And the Audi Q8 e-tron 55 spent 21 minutes charging, and that is a lot better than when I did this test with my own car a few years ago. As I said in the intro of the video, that time it was done in 34 minutes. So this is a substantial improvement and almost as good as the Mercedes EQS SUV 450, though that was done in much colder conditions. And even my old Audi e-tron 55 was done in a little bit milder conditions. I think between 14 and 22 degrees Celsius. Today we have between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius. So those two results I think are more comparable. On a day like this, you are running the HVAC system and the AC a lot more. But overall, it is a very nice improvement. But again, this test, like my motorway range test, or my 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles per hour range test, shows that this car still isn't as efficient as something like a Mercedes EQS SUV, but it's still a very, very nice improvement. And doing a charge for only about 21 minutes on a 600 plus kilometer trip or 400 miles, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And also, Leslie, we actually peaked at 167 kilowatts, so a lot faster than what you guys saw at my last charging stop. So I was sitting in the car because I wanted to monitor if we went up in charging speed, if we got close to that peak of 170 kilowatts, and we did. So for me, I have to stop when I'm not testing, when I'm not charging, to go to the toilet and buy something to drink. And if you're taking this car on a long trip, stopping for 21 minutes on a 600 kilometer, 6-hour trip, yeah, that's not too bad at all. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys then. Goodbye.